3. This is News and Views on Salam Media, and we now cross over to the Free State. We'll be talking with Professor Sethulego Matebesi. He is the Associate Professor and Academic Head of the Department of Sociology at the University of the Free State. A very good morning to you, Professor Matebesi. Nice to have you on the show this morning.
Hi, good day. It's an absolute privilege, and good morning to your listeners as well.
Okay, so the countdown has started. We are literally around the corner to the upcoming elections. And I guess the all-important question is the rise of breakaway parties and their consequential effects on the political terrain. I should even imagine it's going to be so very confusing for lay people out there. Your thoughts?
Yes, I mean, we had COPE, we had the EFF, and all those breakaway parties were from the African National Congress. And we're now on the eve of yet another elections, as you've correctly stated. And now we have ACT, and we have MK Party also coming from, breaking away from the, or at least their leaders being, senior leaders of the African National Congress. And I think a huge difference between all the breakaway parties in the past is that now, for the very first time, we've got what we will say senior former ANC members who have opened their own political parties. And that will create, as you've correctly stated, huge confusion. And I strongly believe this is also going to be the tactic of this party going forward if they realize they will not make it, because one party like IMK indicates that they've got an ambition to unseat the African National Congress, and we all know that it's impossible. They can't do that, despite even if they themselves know that they've got the numbers and the support. I can't see how they will overthrow the African National Congress, but I strongly believe that they will disrupt the status quo. It will not be business as usual.
Unfortunately, it's as we've both indicated, it's going to create a lot of confusion as far as the electorate is concerned. We just hope and pray that they put their ticks right, in the right boxes. But at this stage, not even you or I know what this outcome is going to look like. ANC has lost a lot of confidence and a lot of votes, possibly because of non-service delivery and corruption. What are and I guess there are no guarantees, but what do these smaller parties, what can they promise the electorate? They don't have a track record.
Well, it's always that thing. You get new parties each time on the eve of the election. And some of them, unfortunately, will just be adding numbers. But that's why we've got such a highly fragmented opposition. Our opposition is at its weakest. I've seen the Democratic Alliance forming a pack with that, but they are at their weakest. And another problem with South African politics is you can never trust our leaders. Come the 30th of May, they can then decide, after having received the mandate, who they want to go to bed to, forming coalitions with. And that is very unfortunate. Our politicians are not sincere about what they're going to do, but these smaller parties are there. They are going to take votes from political parties. But at the end of the day, the question is, do they add any relevance? Will they have any significant impact? I don't think so. What I see is just more fragmentation of the opposition. And then one question that one could ask, I mean, you had the former Veterans League, Carl at one stage also forming a party. We had the spokesperson of the former president foundation who went to the EFF. The question is, if these were forces, why haven't they joined at least forces and formed one party? So it tells you everyone wants to establish a political party, but I don't think everyone will be able to play a significant role.
And the questions then to be asked by us ordinary citizens is what's in it for them? Are they these leaders that are forming their own parties and eventually coalitions? What is going to be in it for them? Because that's what it is at the end of the day. And you rightly say Carl Niehaus seems to have joined forces with the EFF. These smaller parties certainly are going to dilute the vote, and it might result in the smaller parties forming coalitions that we, the electorate, won't be happy with the coalition. So, for example, I give my vote to Rise and Zanzi, and after the elections, because of the small numbers, they then form a coalition with a party that I was very, very opposed to. There's really nothing I can do at this point in time, can I? That's the one statement. The other statement as well is, what about those people who decide, I am so confused. There are so many small parties, so many people saying different things to me that I think I might as well not go and vote at all. How is that going to hurt the elections and the country going forward?
What a brilliant question and reflection, because this is exactly what is going to happen. You've got too many voices out there. Well, look, it's commendable on one side that people are expressing and living up to the democracy that we've all aspired to, where you can join and form your own political party. But we should not be naive to say everyone, just because you've been a leader or got certain position in party X, now suddenly you will lead your own party. It's very confusing for the men in the street, and everybody's a lot of promises. So that's why some people will yet again become so disillusioned with our mainstream politics, and as you've correctly stated, may just decide not to vote. And we know voter turnout, it's a huge problem in South Africa. And with a large population of young people who are registered, it will be very interesting to see, because there's a huge difference between being a registered voter, so a citizen, than an actual citizen who will exercise your democratic right come the 29th of May. But there's a lot of confusion out there by these many opposition or smaller parties.
In closing, then, Professor Matebesi, your sound advice to people who decide, because of the confusion, I'm not going to vote. What are the consequences of that action or non-action? What do you say to those people?
Well, it's the same notion that politics is dirty. Politics is not dirty. Politics have been made dirty if that is a situation by the current crop of leaders. And it's up to us citizens to change that narrative, to change that status quo. People should really go and vote because their vote do make a difference, but it's not up to us to tell them who to vote for.
Okay, nice talking with you. Undoubtedly, we're going to talk some more leading up to the elections. Thank you indeed for your insights. You go well and keep safe, and all the very best.
All the best to the listeners as well. Thank you.
That was Professor Sethulego Matebesi, Associate Professor and Academic Head of the Department of Sociology at the University of the Free State. We're moving along. We're going to be listening to a pre-recorded interview. But before we go there, and before I say my goodbyes this morning, let's take a quick ad break.